Summer vacations in the village always felt magical. No alarms, no school, no responsibilities. Just games, laughter, and the fields that stretched forever. We were a group of six cousins, all around 12 or 13 years old. Every day after lunch, we would escape to the fields behind our grandfather's house. There were mango trees, wheat crops, and a little canal. And something we never noticed before, a house hidden deep behind overgrown bushes and wild grass. No roads led to it. No one talked about it. One afternoon we dared to go closer. It was completely abandoned. Walls cracked, windows broken. The air around it felt still. Too still. Maybe it's haunted, my younger cousin whispered. We laughed nervously, but something inside all of us wanted to go in. The front door was open, not cracked open, wide open, like it had been waiting. Inside it was cooler, dust everywhere, cobwebs, but strangely no insect, no birds, no signs of animals, just silence. We walked slowly through what used to be a living room. There were old wooden chairs, a broken lantern, and a portrait on the wall of a family, a man, woman, and two children. Their eyes seemed wrong, like they were watching us. My cousin Nida touched the frame. It fell off the wall and shattered. And that's when we heard it. A whisper, soft, like wind. It said, "You should not be here." We froze, looked at each other, and then we ran back to Dadaji's house, breathless, shaking. We tried to tell the elders, but they dismissed it. That house was abandoned after the fire, one aunt said. No one's lived there in 50 years. They say the family disappeared. No bodies were ever found. That night we couldn't sleep. We kept talking about the portrait, about the whisper, about how none of us saw where the voice came from. But the next day, something strange happened. A note, folded and tucked under the mat in our room. An old yellow paper, written in faded ink. Come back. We are still waiting. None of us put it there. We hadn't told anyone exactly what we heard. Who wrote it? We went back. We had to. This time in daylight, armed with sticks, flashlights, and prayers whispered under our breath. Inside the house looked darker, like it had absorbed the shadows. The portrait was still shattered, but now something else was there. A child's drawing, pinned to the wall with a rusted nail. Crayons, a house, 6 stick figures standing in front of us. Exactly 6. One had long braids, just like Nida. One had a red shirt, like I was wearing that day. We couldn't breathe. That drawing wasn't there yesterday. We heard laughter, not cheerful, too high-pitched, echoing. Then a door upstairs slammed shut. We never ran faster in our lives, but one cousin fell. My brother, he said the felt hands grabbing his legs. But when we looked, there was nothing, just claw marks on his ankle. We got out, never went back. A month later, the house caught fire on its own, in the middle of a rainy night. No lighting, no power lines, just flames. When villagers came to see, it was gone. Nothing left but ashes. But sometimes, during monsoon evenings, people hear children laughing from those fields, and they say 6 shadows are sometimes seen, walking between the trees, searching for the house that never should have been found.